Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to AfroSwag Media and Magazine. This is our first show of the year 2022. Welcome. We are so excited to have you here tonight. My name is Deborah. As always, I will be your host on this show. And tonight we have a very special guest. I'm going to bring her to the camera right now so that we can discover who she is. Hello, Dr. Sheena.
Hi, how are you?
I am doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing good.
Excellent. So, welcome to AfroSwag Media and Magazine.
Thanks for having me.
We are so happy to have you. Do you mind telling us a little bit about yourself, your background?
Yes, I am a wife and a mother of three sons, who I love dearly, and I own two businesses, and I have a doctorate in public administration, a bachelor's in criminal justice, a master's in public administration, and then an associate's in criminal justice and forensic science. So we own Remedy Road LLC, which is a developmental disabilities agency. And then we own a business consulting business called Reynolds Business Consulting. And so we've been doing both for about 3.5, 4 years now.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm so excited to learn more about your two businesses, your family, your sons, and you look so young. I'm not going to lie. And your accomplishment when it comes to all those degrees, and what was the motivation to go into public administration and all that. So, once again, thank you so much for um, allowing us to have you on our platform. Again, for the viewers, this is AfroSwag Media and Magazine Show. And this is our first show of the year. We have Dr. Sheena Reynolds. So, Dr. Sheena, tell me about your degrees, your educational background. How did you know to go in that field?
I didn't know. And to be honest with you, I became a career student because I had to. I had two boys I had to take care of. I knew I wanted to be a detective one day. And when I did my clinicals for a class, I didn't like it much. I found that I would rather help the living than the dead, um, because I want to be proactive in people's life and not reactive. And then I went into public administration because I found I had a strength in paperwork, administrating things, leadership, policy writing, building things from the ground up. Um, and I just never quit. Once I start something, I got to finish it. And so I said I might as well get my PhD, but at the same time, those student loan checks helped out. Okay. I had to provide for those children. So, um, I like school. School was not hard for me. It was hard for me up until I got to the ninth grade. And nobody knows this about me, but I was in special education. I couldn't read or do math until ninth grade, when I really buckled down and got the help that I needed to get school done. And so that was challenging. And when I tell people that, they're like, "What? You were in special ed?" Yeah, I didn't do good on the ACT or the SAT. It was a terrible score. And so I went to Iowa Western for 2 years. Um, and then I went to Bellevue and got my degrees all the way up to the master's degree. And then I went to Capella, and I got my PhD. And I want to go back to school, but my husband's like, "Girl, if you don't sit down somewhere," but I do want to go back to school.
Oh, wow. So, what would you go back to school for?
I want to get a therapist degree. My husband's almost done getting his degree, and I'm like, we can yin and yang that thing. Or I would love to do something in special education to get a certificate and special education. Since the field that I'm in, I see that there is a major need for special education teachers to work with the population that's not so easy to work with. And so I have the patience to work with that population that needs that special education care. And also, since I was in special education, it really helped a great deal for when I, got up to high school. And then I don't know what happened. I snapped out of it and I buckled down. I studied harder. I had to outwork the next person and study harder than the next person just to, you know, stay in the class, the top ranking. And I didn't think I could, but I did.
Wow, that's amazing. And that's a comment that you also made in a recent interview, I believe that you had with KTV.
Right.
That's what the next person. So this is where it comes from.
So one more time, what was your question? Sorry.
Oh, you said outwork the next person.
Oh, yes. In life, you cannot be comfortable in the place that you're in, because there's somebody else working harder than you are, trying to keep up with what you're doing. And working harder than the next person is something that I've had to do my whole life, because nothing really came easy to me. I had to work extremely hard to get to where I am and to be where I am. And that came with everything. The jobs that I've had countless amount of jobs, being in school, having two children, three jobs while putting myself through school. I've always had to work harder. And at the time that I was working harder than the next person, and I still work hard, working for myself is the hardest that I've ever worked in my life. I didn't know I can reach this magnitude of working to build something. So I've always had the model to outwork the next person. And it's not to be above the next person, but it's to make sure that I'm where I need to be 100% dedicated with quality execution and strategy.
Wow, thank you so much for tuning in. We have a comment. She is extremely smart and dedicated. Go, Dr. Reynolds. Do you know this person? Thank you
Ah,
so much for tuning in, everybody. And we have Cautious Nazi. He says, hello, hello.
hello.
I hope your Friday is going well. And to everyone that has tuned in either on Facebook Live, YouTube, or LinkedIn, please, if you have any questions, just put it in the comment box and then we will make sure we answer your question. If we don't have an immediate response, we'll make sure we get back to you later. And if you are catching us on replay, make sure you put in the comment box hashtag replay. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Afro Swag Media and Magazine. So back to you, Dr. Reynolds. You mentioned that the population that you work with, and that's about your Remedy Road LLC business, which is a developmental disability agency.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
this started in 2017.
Yes.
Tell me about that population. And I can feel when you were talking that you have a passion and you said you have the patience for that population.
Yes, I do have the patience for it. I've been working in human services since I was 19 years old, either with children or developmental disabilities. And that's really a lot of the work that I have done. Um, Working with special needs is it's a population that you can learn from too. Just because they have disadvantages in some areas doesn't mean that they don't have any advantages at all. And I find myself when I work with this population that they teach me a lot on a daily basis, as such as gratitude, being thankful for what you do have, being thankful for the function that you do have of your brain and your limbs and your body, and just being in existence. They also teach me a lot about life, and looking at life in a different lens. Um, and the same thing with children. We do some foster care work as well, with kiddos that have high behaviors. And so just those two populations alone, you can make a dramatic difference. A lot of people don't want teenagers because they're hard to deal with or they're hard to place. And a lot of people don't know how to actually deal with special needs. It takes a person who has a special heart because it's definitely not for the weak. You have to be strong, grounded, know who you are, have patience, and don't take anything personal. And just be in it to make sure that you're helping to edify their lives. And so that's what makes this job and this career worth doing, because you can see the changes in others through the work that you do.
And this is very much true. I was also in human services working with DHHS. I was in developmental disability as a service coordinator, and I can tell that I learned a lot from this
Mhm.
population. This was my first time, and I can only be thankful for life because, like you said, um, it doesn't mean that you have a developmental disability that you don't know certain things, because there's so much that you can learn from this individual. And we have Naomi just tuned in. She said, that is good, Dr. Sheena. Yes,
Oh,
indeed.
thanks, Naomi.
Thank you so much for tuning in once again. So tell me about entrepreneurship. How difficult or how easy? Okay, I can see that reaction. Tell me more about it.
Woo! Entrepreneurship is the hardest thing I've ever done. And if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Um, no 2 days are the same. More days are more crazy than the next day. Things come up, schedule gets thrown off, you're running around like you're crazy, you forget stuff. You have to be very organized, tactical, and strategic. And I struggle with some organization with trying to just make sure I'm keeping up with everything, because it's hard to duplicate myself, because me and my husband have built this from the ground up. And so we know what's in our head, but it's hard to try to train someone else to know everything that's in our head so that we can duplicate ourselves fully. So entrepreneurship is excellent, because it's not only just about building a legacy for your family and a foundation. We help other people. And my husband and I, we are very, very grateful to be able to run payroll to help others take care of their families and build their own legacies. Not from our business, but we also coach our employees on building their own businesses and following their own dreams.
You
So,
said a lot right there. I'll let you finish.
mhm. And so entrepreneurship is just definitely, um, it's worthwhile. It definitely is. And I enjoy the people that I work with, and I enjoy the lives that my husband and I changed because of this business. But it's definitely, woo, tiring some days. And you have to learn how to balance and between your personal life, your family, and your career and your job, and making sure that you make time for yourself, because self-care is very important being an entrepreneur.
Well, everyone that tuned in tonight, I'm sure you can tell that you're in for a treat. All those nuggets that she's dropping, it's amazing. Self-care is important as an entrepreneur. Having good organizational skills, that's one key to becoming, a successful entrepreneur as well. And that's very much true. Like, every day is different. And having to deal with all those things that you have listed, payroll, scheduling, and working with several stakeholders, organizations, it takes a lot. And I'm glad that you're still in this business. And I'm glad that you have the consulting business to help other entrepreneurs. That's amazing. It's not just about you. And you also mentioned something about the legacy. So we have one question. I'm going to project that question. And once you answer that question, we'll coming back to the legacy. So the question is, who inspires Dr. Reynolds?
Um, through my life, it was my father, for one. My father raised me. He inspired me because he was never a person to give up. He was never a person to make excuses. He was hard on me. I was a girl. I'm the youngest. Um, he was hard. It was tough love. He loved me, but he was just also wasn't going to let me lack and slack in a lot of areas. And I think with that discipline that I got from him, even though I was still a knucklehead teenager, I just got to be real, I was a knucklehead. Um, I had that work ethic to never give up on anything that I did. Even though sometimes I'd be like, I'm not doing this. I hear his voice, you better get up and get it done. You know, um, Another person that inspires me, that's my mentor, is BC Clark. Love her to death. She she tells it like it is. And I'm used to that. And that's what I need. I need directness. I need somebody that's not going to play with me. And I encourage anybody who's in entrepreneurship or trying to go higher in their own personal lives to get a mentor, somebody that knows more than you, somebody that's experienced more life than you, and somebody that has more experiences than you to help you stay on track, because everybody has to reach up for help. You can't reach lateral, and you can't reach this way. You got to reach up. And whether that's God or whoever it is, in the flesh. And BC Clark is definitely one person that keeps me on my toes. If I have a question, she's there. If I have an issue, she's there brainstorming with me. And I just love how she moves. Like she'll be in 5 different states in one week. And I'm like, where are you at now? What are you doing now? She's like, oh, I'm in this, I'm doing that, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that. And I'm like, wow. So I'm like, I want to be like you when I grow up. So those two people definitely inspire me. And another person that inspires me is my children, because I look at them every day, and everything that I do is for them, you know, because my husband and I, we come from families that didn't set us up for success. Like my dad didn't know much. He didn't know about school debt. He didn't know about, he old school from down Macon, Mississippi, and Truman, Arkansas. He didn't know much about those sorts of things. But one thing he did show me was he built the house from a ground up. He went to work, and he never quit on anything. Okay. And so those three things I just keep dear to my heart, and I want to honor him and make him proud. And I want my children to look at me and their dad, Tony, and understand that we're doing this for you. This is the work ethic. This is the expectation for you guys. This is the legacy for you guys. And so that is very, very important. My husband inspires me because he be on me. He don't let me. I feel like he's my dad reincarnated, but it's my husband because they act so much alike. It's kind of scary, And he be on me. He be on me from the physical to the spiritual to the mental to the just being organized. I mean, and we balance each other out. So I got a lot of inspirations, that are near to and dear to my heart that I truly respect.
Wow. And if you don't mind me asking, is your dad still around?
No, my dad died in 2011, and even then, he fought all the way to the end. And before he left, he looked at me and and said, "This my last rodeo. You better remember everything that I taught you." And he said that, and I'm like, "Dad, don't be talking like that." And he goes, "Nah, I'm not coming out of here. Everything that I taught you, and don't you be no fool, and you better finish everything that you start, or don't start it at all." So those are his last words to me. And so I always remember that.
Wow. And sorry for your loss. I'm glad that he left something that you can always remember. And thanks
Mhm.
for honoring him. And shout out to your husband, shout out to your kids, and
Mhm.
shout out to Lady BC Clark.
Yes.
And like you said, as an entrepreneur, you need a mentor.
Yes.
Someone that has walked the walk, someone that has that experience, and someone that has been there, someone that you can look up to for help, for advice, and for guidance. So that's another nugget there. If we have any aspiring entrepreneur or any entrepreneur watching, and you don't have a mentor, you don't have a coach, make sure you get yourself a mentor and a coach. And we have Before we get to the next question, that is from Naomi, she said, "What advice would you give your younger self?" Let's dive in.
Woo! Not to be so doggone hard headed and trying to figure things out for myself when my life was laid out for me already. I was something else. Uh, Anybody that knows me knows that I was something else. So I was, I was something else. So I'll leave it right there because that's a whole nother conversation. But life, my thing is what I would tell my younger self is life is the best teacher, and you definitely gonna learn if you don't make the right decision. And I've learned in a lot of different things. And so uh life will teach you. Life will drop you, drop kick you. You could stay down there or you could climb and get yourself back up. But life is no joke. And what I would tell my younger self was is you should have listened to your daddy when he was telling you certain things. So I learned though. Some people don't even learn from life. Some people look at it like, "Ooh, I escaped that one. I slicked that one." Nah, you got to learn from some things. Working on yourself is the hardest thing you'll ever have to do. You got to have introspection. You got to look within. You got to hold yourself accountable. You got to say, "Dang, I got to work on that." Nobody's perfect, not even by a long shot. You know, you got to work on yourself daily. We all human.
Wow. I love all those advice that you're giving. It's amazing. I'll definitely go back and watch this and replay it because you're dropping some big nuggets here. And thank you so much once again for being on this show.
No
So
problem.
February is Black History Month. And February and next weekend is going to be Valentine's Day weekend. Dr. Reynolds, what can you tell us about Black love?
It's wonderful. Um, Black love's wonderful. Me and my husband don't celebrate Valentine's Day though, because we love each other every day. Even though we get on each other nerves sometimes. We're going on year 8, but I never got into Valentine's Day because I just feel like the love should be there and unconditional regardless. Especially if you're married to somebody. So I'm just not that type of female to get into the Valentine's Day, but I get it. But I love Black love. I'm a hopeless romantic. I watch all the little seedless movies that be on Netflix and Amazon, and I love Black love. I love to see Black love flourish. And the most important thing with Black love is I love to see what is built from it. You know, businesses or children or grinding out, having each other's back. Um, Being the yin to the yang, back to back. It's us against the world type thing. So I love that. Every relationship has problems. There's no relationship that's not going to have a problem, but it's just how you get through it is what matters, and what you build and become after it is what really matters. And nobody else's opinion really matters about your relationship. That's between you, God, and that person that you married or you made a commitment to. Nobody else's opinion really matters. So I would just give that advice. If you're in love, you got it's Black love, mixed love. I don't care. Caucasian love, Black love is good. Make sure you keep your business to yourself, because that's what's going to help it grow and thrive. And whatever's not right, y'all work that out with each other, not with third parties, unless it's a therapist or something like that, or your pastor. I
Wow.
wouldn't even tell my closest friend because ain't none of their business. And all they gonna do is be, well, even though they say they're not gonna be one sided, they are, because it's your friend. You need somebody that's neutral.
Right. Wow. And thank you so much for tuning in for everybody that is watching. We have Roberta, Roberta Neal, Naomi, Kusha Snazi, Eloge, and several other people that are watching from different Facebook pages. If you have a question, please put it in the comment box and we will make sure we get back to you. So tell me, the field that you're in, the developmental disability field, like are there a lot of black owned business or black agencies in this field? And this is a complex question. How difficult or how easy was it to get in this field?
It wasn't nothing for me and my husband. It wasn't easy. I can't speak for anybody else. Me and my husband worked 14-hour days, came home, looked at our policies and procedures, wrote them page by page, word from word, didn't get any help from anybody. And we did that for 2.5 years. We took our time. We weren't trying to keep up with somebody else. We stayed in our own lane. We strategically planned. We implemented and executed the plan when it was time, not because somebody else is doing it. So when we got into it, we really took our time and had a plan as to how this was going to roll out and grow. And it is growing according to our plan and time frames. And with any entrepreneur, if you're just jumping into it because it looks like this is what I want to do, or you trying to count somebody else's pocket, I'm going to tell you now, you're going to fail, because one, it's not in your heart. Two, it's not the lane you're supposed to be in. And three, I'm not writing your policy, so please don't ask. you know, because it was blood, sweat, and tears with me and my husband, trying to build both of our businesses, and we have future businesses coming up that I won't announce yet, but we working on some things. And so it's hard, it's nothing easy about it. And when you get into a field, you need to know why you're in it. You need to know the purpose behind the reason why you're going to do what you want to do. And you got to have a mission and stick by it, and have vision and values. You know, everybody's not going to like how you run your business, but you built it from the ground up, so you know what needs to be done. And with entrepreneurship comes a lot of hate. Can you stand to be hated? Can you stand for people to talk about you and talk behind your back and tell lies and gossip and feel like they weren't treated fairly? Can you take that? Because if you can't, entrepreneurship is not for you. It's not for the weak. Definitely.
It's definitely not for the weak. Thank you so much, Amaya, for joining. Amaya Johnson, thank you so much
Hey,
for
Amaya.
speaking.
That's my baby right there.
I know, right? So we've been here for a minute. Don't go away. We're going to take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about your business consulting, Reynolds Business Consulting, and how people can get a hold of you, for help. And I know you counsel, you coach aspiring entrepreneurs. So don't go away. Stay with us. We're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we'll talk about the consulting business.
You know the phrase or sentence I hate most in defense of police brutality against black people? A few bad eggs. That, my friend, is a phrase you cannot use in a situation of life and death. We won't stop fighting till glory comes. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, baby. You broke ass nigga, you can't tell me what to do.
And you want to talk about that right now?
Oh, wait, babe. I think I've been pulled over by this cop party.
You can be really racist. Always looking for some trouble where there ain't none.
License and registration, please.
So you saying black people should just be perfect? Also, they can avoid a racist system.
If the black community wants to rise, we need to start taking responsibility for our actions.
You just stand right back, okay?
I ain't got time for this shit.
Terrence, I'm gonna tell you right now, those two, they up to no good.
I ain't going nowhere without my money.
What money, Terrence?
There is no doubt in my mind that they're killing the best of us. Here we go again.
You can't marry Shanita. She's not good for you.
What were you thinking, Wale?
Where's my money, man?
You back selling drugs again?
We are angry. We are going to use our anger to say enough is enough.
Relax, okay? Sir, can you please step outside the vehicle?
Wait, what?
Is there any problem?
Wale, what's going on?
Step outside the vehicle.
Hello? Wale, what's going on? Wale!
All right. Thank you so much for staying with us. Welcome back, everybody. This is Afro Swag Media and Magazine, and the trailer that we just watched, that's about the movie titled Privilege, and that is going to be premiered on March 11th at Alamo in La Vista. Get in touch with us if you need an invite. It by invite only, but get a hold of us. Send us an email, put a comment in the box, and then we'll um, send you a private invite. So today we are with Dr. Reynolds. I'm going to bring her back to the camera. That way we can continue this very interesting conversation. Welcome back, Dr. Reynolds.
Hey.
All right. I have one more comment and I'm going to project it and then we can continue with a very interesting conversation.
Okay.
So, well, that was from Naomi. She said Dr. Sheena is the GOAT.
Ah, thank you, Naomi.
All right. So, before the break, we were talking about your Reynolds Business Consulting. So,
Okay.
tell me about some of the things that people can get when they come to you for advice, um, managing their businesses or starting their business.
Um, so Reynolds Business Consulting came about when my husband and I, he has a business degree. And we just have a niche for helping people start businesses and becoming their best selves. Him and I are both transformational leaders, because we want to see people do well. We want to see all people win. And so with my public administration degree and his business degree, I'm very, very administrative. So I can help get anything really up and starting that needs a licensure here in Nebraska, and a couple other states. And so I'm good with policy writing, business writing, business plans, I should say, getting some marketing together and connecting you to resources and people that can help further you in the career that you're trying to do, or the business you're trying to build. My husband is also a life coach, soon to be therapist. I'm also a life coach. And so we help in a lot of different areas. And even if you just need help with executing your plan on what you need to do next, and helping you make sense of the plan that you have. One thing my husband is good at, so in the business consulting business, he is the master negotiator. He's good with numbers. He's the CFO of Remedy Road. He is good with, business forecasting, helping with taxes, getting your credit right, those sorts of things. He's good with cryptocurrency. He's just good with the numbers. I'm not. I don't like numbers. I know how to pay my bills and calculate what you're supposed to get paid. But other than that, I don't like numbers the way that he does. And so I'm good at the paperwork and things of that nature, and transforming lives to make sure you understand that you can do what you put your mind to. But like I said, you got to outwork the next person and be willing to work, be willing to lose sleep over it, be willing to, marry that thing. So until you got it in your head without having to go and look at your business plan, you can regurgitate that thing, have your pitch together, have your business plan together, have your forecast and your expenditures and stuff together, have your mission together, and know exactly what you need to do because it's in you. It's a part of your DNA now. And so that's what I look at when people come to us for help. I want to know if it's in your DNA, or are you doing it because somebody else is doing it? Is this what you're supposed to be doing? Is this your purpose, or are you just trying to come up? Because if it's not in your DNA, whatever you're trying to do because the next person's doing it is going to fail, because it's not in you. It has to be in you. You got to breathe and sleep that thing. I didn't want to come in here today. You see, I got this hat on. I said, I got this interview. They're going to see it just like it is, because entrepreneurship is not a joke. It's not a joke.
And you're right. It is not a joke. Sometimes, every day is hectic, but if you have the heart for it,
right,
and if you have the right training, if you have a business plan, and if you have a plan, then you know how to deal with everything that comes every day.
Right. You got to be willing to educate yourself in the field that you're trying to go into. And so I recommend a lot of books. I recommend a lot of education. But one thing that I've learned that me and my husband have learned to stop doing is doing everything for people. So people want to pull on you and get all the nuggets dropped on them, but they don't want to do the work. And we notice that because I can boom, 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 type it up and be done. Like, here you go, run with it. But it's not teaching you nothing. And it's teaching you to go to ask somebody else to do the hard work for you so you can execute a plan that you didn't even create.
Right.
So we stopped doing that. We'll work with you, but you're gonna have to do some work. You gotta do some of that groundwork in order to get to where you're trying to go.
I really love that approach. That's unique, and that's what makes a difference between having a sustainable business or just, having a side hustle. So I applaud you for that. And we have another comment here. You are amazing, to say the least. I'm blessed to know and work for you, and I'll always support your endeavors. Team Remedy Road. And
That
that's
gotta be Stacy. Thank you, Stacy. She's one of our supervisors, and she is the best supervisor ever. Like she's teachable, she's accountable, she's a good leader, she's willing to work hard. She doesn't make excuses, and she's willing to grow. And her business is called Ugly LLC, and that means you gotta love yourself. So check her out. Go to her page, Stacy Jackson.
I will definitely check that out. Ugly.
Ugly, yep. It stands for you gotta love yourself.
You
Because
got to love yourself. That's
yes,
amazing.
love starts within. And if you don't love yourself, you ain't going far. And that's just period.
So you mentioned some of the skills and the qualities that Stacy has. You said she's coachable.
Mm-hmm.
Is that important as an entrepreneur?
Yes, you got to have people who, as an entrepreneur, you really have to have people that move with your heart. Because if they don't, they can have their own agenda, and you're liable for anything that goes wrong. She has a good heart, not necessarily identical to mine, but she has pieces of the heart that I have and that my husband have and the vision that we have. And then we have, pieces of her heart for the vision that she has. So we help each other. But one thing you want to do when you're an entrepreneur is you want to hire people that are teachable and people who are accountable and people who want to do well and want to learn. Um, and I can say the least that, most of our staff are all of our staff, our team, we got a bomb team. I don't want to jinx anything, but our team is pretty bomb. Yeah, they do their thing. Especially today, they work so hard. I'm so proud of them because today was one of those days that was hectic. It was fire here, fire there. Put this fire out, put that fire out, and they still just did what they were supposed to do all day. So I'm grateful and blessed, to be able to have a team throughout the whole organization like we have.
I love it. So tell me about how challenging it was for you to be in business, remain in business throughout the pandemic.
With this business, our doors can never shut because we're first line responders and we have to continue to work. So it really didn't hit us at all. And I'm blessed to say that. Nobody lost work. People, we had to shut down a couple times because people had COVID in the beginning where you had to close for 14 days because somebody had COVID, but we opened right back up. We really didn't get hit that hard. People still got paychecks. They still were able to take care of their families.
That's indeed a blessing. And I was there just this week and I saw you are expanding your services and you're adding more to what you're already offering, to the individuals that come to the day service. Can you
Right.
tell me a little bit about that plan and what should people expect?
Um, our plan is to grow. We did move into a bigger building where we can provide more services at our day services. And so our plan is to continue to grow into the education field. We want to expand into different states with our business. and offer services, in other states of what we're doing here in Nebraska. And that's our vision. And so we have a 10-year plan, and it's going as expected. And we're just going to keep going. God willing, we're just going to keep going and
So,
growing.
is there anything that you currently need as a business?
Staff. But nobody really wants to, the staff shortage is real. Like, people don't want to work. I get that. I mean, it's everybody's choice, but staff, in order to expand as big as you want to, you got to have dedicated staff. And that's with any business. And there's a staff shortage around the world. But we're dealing with it. We have a great team that's willing to pick up slack for other people, willing to fill in wherever they can, and doing it because they want to, with good attitudes. So, again, I'm grateful for our team.
And you're right, the whole world is short staffed. So, yeah, I'm glad that you're grateful for your team, and I'm glad that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And, they have a great coach, they have a great mentor, and you're there to help them, and not just, to grow your business, but to help them as individuals. And you mentioned about going into to further your education, becoming a therapist or something.
I haven't made my mind up. I got to talk to my husband. he's like, girl, you got a doctor. Why would you, you never can stop growing. And as long as I'm alive, I'm always try to learn something else. And that's just me. I love learning new things. I'm very teachable. I'm very coachable. I don't know everything. And I love learning different things. That's just me. So I feel like it's time to go back to school, But my husband's like, girl, if you don't sit down somewhere. But it's good to be ambitious,
Yeah. I love that. It's good to be ambitious. So tell me one thing, or tell me something that was a defining moment for you in your life.
Becoming a mother. Becoming a mother made me think differently and want differently. Becoming a mother is the greatest accomplishment I feel like I've ever done. Being able to train and teach, and God, giving me the permission to be their parent, and allowing me to teach and guide and train children to duplicate love and compassion, hard work, and willingness to grow is the most amazing thing ever in my life. Life in general is the most amazing thing ever to me. It's unexplainable. It's sorry, let me shut this door. They're cleaning. Give me a moment.
That's okay. Like she said, she's still at work, and she wasn't lying when she said that, she has a business to run, and it's Friday night where it's very cold right here in Omaha, Nebraska, but she's at work making sure things are done the way they're supposed to be done. It's Friday evening, but this is exactly what it looks like to be running a business.
Right. It's no schedule. It's 24/7, and I'm not complaining about it. I knew once we got in this field, and those are some of the things, whoever wants to be an entrepreneur out there, those are some of the things that you really got to really sit down and think about. Can you sacrifice your time? Can you say, hey, I'm not going to that party. I got reports to get done. Can you say, I need to stay after to make sure my people get paid because payroll's messed up? Hint, hint. Can you stay after and create new innovative ideas to make your brand and your business better? How do you incorporate your children into what you're doing? What is, you sacrificing time, how is that going to affect them? How are you going to balance your time? I'm a wife, a mother, and a business owner. I have to balance my time. in those 3 areas. So when you're trying to develop a plan, yes, you want to make money, you want to build a legacy, but also don't forget about your children and yourself and your spouse, that you have to make sure you are making time for. It's all a sacrifice, you know. So my idea is to expand this, have directors in different states and different parts, and I can sit back and be the owner and not have to be at work, delegating. That's my vision. Everybody has to have a vision. That's my husband's vision. And really take your time and plan it. Don't just do it because somebody else is doing it. Take your time. There's no rush.
Take your time. There is no rush. Don't compare. Comparison can kill. Can kill you. And we have more people that have joined. We have Nikki Rush. We have Lena Bedford. And we have so many people that are joining. Thank you so much for joining. And if you are watching this in replay, make sure you put in the comment box #replay. So, Dr. Reynolds, do you have anything else that you would like to add?
Make sure that whatever you do, you do it because it's in your heart and it's in alignment with your purpose. Purpose is very, very important. Energy is very, very important. Don't waste your energy on people who have hidden agendas. Don't waste your energy because you heard somebody was talking about you. You don't have time for that, because in entrepreneurship, somebody gonna always have something to say about you. Make sure you treat everybody right, no matter what they say. You know in your heart that what you've done is the right thing to do for people. My husband and I have helped so many people that have stabbed us in the back, talked about us, tried to do things to implicate us, everything, our marriage, everything, you know. But at the end of the day, you got to understand, hey, introspection. What did I do wrong? How can I get better? Did I say something wrong? And not putting up those defense mechanisms that make you look terrible, and then you're not teachable and you're not learning anything. Accept feedback, accept criticism, learn from it. Don't get defensive over it. Also understand that mental health is important. If you have some childhood traumas, PTSD, or things of that nature, us in the Black community should not say, I'm not going to see a therapist. I'm not going to see a shrink. I don't know where people get that from. I have a bomb therapist, and he happens to be a Caucasian man, and I go see him faithfully because there are some things in my childhood that I have to heal from in order to go where I see God taking me. You can't go to the next level the same way you left the last level.
Right.
Otherwise, the same habits and the same level that you were on is just going to follow you. It might change a little bit, but it's not going to change drastically. So you have to get the help that you need to get. And don't be ashamed. I ain't ashamed. I'll tell everybody in a minute, yep, going to therapy. Show lit. See you later. That's my self-care. That's the help that I need in order to be the greatest that I can be for other people. Because when you become an entrepreneur, you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't pour from something that you're struggling with in your mind. And if you ever find yourself struggling, stop talking. I can't mentor you today. I'll tell somebody that in a minute. I'm struggling. I can't today. You got to know when to have boundaries and when to shut off the valve and step back. I need a chance to recharge. We're all human. And so make sure that if you need a therapist and you're struggling with something, go find one. Go get some help. There's nothing to be shameful about, especially in the Black community. And that's why I'm so glad that my husband is going to be another Black male therapist in Nebraska. He is going to open his own firm, and he wants other Black male therapists. If you think you want to be a therapist, please reach out to my husband, Tony L. General, on Facebook, and talk to him about his experience in school and on becoming a therapist soon. He'll be done with school soon. So make sure you talk to him, because more Black men, Black women are needed in the therapy community. Okay. So I couldn't find one. And that's why I see a Caucasian therapist, because I couldn't find a Black therapist that was willing to take me. We need more. I appreciate my therapist and he's helped me a lot, but I would have preferred to see someone that looks like me And, so we need more. Go back to school. If you're even thinking about it, just go and do it. Just do it.
Wow, thank you so much for those nuggets. Thank you so much. What a beautiful way to end the show today since it's Black History Month. And thank you so much for pointing us to those directions. Like, it's very needed in our Black community. And it's about, Black excellence. It's about generational wealth. It's about leaving that legacy for your children. And that's why entrepreneurship is very important. Again, it's been a blessing to be on our show today. And thank you so much. We wish you a good weekend. Hopefully, you have some time to rest a little bit since you know about self care. And thanks everybody that joined us tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, if you're watching this in replay, don't forget to put hashtag replay. And we've been live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And until next, have yourself a very good weekend and good night. Bye bye.